So today's adventure was to finish blocking in the staircase. So this is in the garage where the stairs are gonna go that will lead up to our house. And I'm gonna plop in some video here and some pictures so that you can see what we did, and I'll do a little bit of voiceover so that you can see what we did to get to this finished product. So this is sort of the last piece that we had to put up to finish the entire downstairs area. You can see that Dan is taking the measurements from the initial piece of board, and then he's going to cut it, and then we're going to fit it into that little slot. One of the things that made it a little more complicated than we had intended, but Dan foresaw, was where we had the steel beams to help with stability, he had to make sure that the board would go behind the steel beam, and so he had prepared for that when the steel beams were installed by our welding friends, and had installed a piece of particle board behind the beams, and all we had to do was just replace that particle board. It was really cool to see how that just kind of slid in there and nothing changed. It was really cool. So this is actually the video where Dan is replacing the particle board underneath of that steel beam. You can see him removing the screws and getting the particle board to fit just right in there, and then he puts the screws back in, and nothing shifts, nothing changes. It was all prepared before this, way last year when we put up the initial structure. Dan knew this was going to have to happen, and so in order to do that, he made sure that the particle board was behind the steel beam before the steel beam went up there. It's a really great example of making sure that you understand the entire process of building, which of course I do not, but fortunately Dan does, and that's a really good thing going in our favor. This is something that is really cool that Dan does. He uses this T-square to make sure that all of the nails go from the particle board into the stud behind them. It's a really great way to make sure that everything goes in those studs and you don't miss and you don't waste nails. Just a quick preview of kind of our hangout area. The dogs are kind of showing you where we hang out when it's nighttime and we're not working and we're not sleeping. This is kind of our little living space as it be. This particular picture shows Dan sort of measuring out the angle that we anticipated the staircase would take when it was on its downward trend. This is Dan building the platform that will eventually connect the two sets together. So this is something that I love doing. I love to clean up the forest. And so you'll see Blue here playing with a pile of wood that I made down in the work area we call the yard. It's a huge pile of wood that I just cleaned up off of the forest floor, making it more accessible for our animal friends and more accessible for our baby Blue. Out of 2x8. So Dan is taking a scrap piece of 2x10 and he is making a 2x8. Product. So we've blocked in what we need to get our staircase built, and that's it. And believe it or not, that was a lot of work. That was a ton of work. We lucked out because last year we had done the bottom, and so we just needed to do the 2 top rows. In addition, we had already purchased the wood, so we had the wood already, which is huge because, as some of you know, if you're building right now, the prices are just insane. And so we'd already had the wood, thank heaven, or we would not have been able to do this. We did sell our side-by-side a couple of weeks ago to some pretty good friends, and the side-by-side went bibbidi-bobbidi-boo and turned into windows. So that's what's we're going to be up next, but the staircase is going to be the focus of the next few videos because that's what we're doing. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe, thumbs up for us. We want to get as many people on this adventure as we possibly can. We heard from Eleni last night. The baby is doing well. Everything looks okay. If you pray, please pray for our little grandson. He was a preemie, and so he's struggling with some health issues, but he's a fighter, so I think he's gonna be all right. Carter's out and about on the new 4-wheeler. He's having a blast. Trying to check it out and see what it's like. It's been raining for a little bit, so he was a little depressed when we first got here, but it's looking good now. It's kind of breaking up, and maybe the sun will come out. I hope the sun's out where you are, friends. You come see us soon at Farm in the Woods. Bye.